So one of my favorite things that the sports media world has to offer is a good old-fashioned anonymous player survey. And The Athletic just did this for the NBA, and it made some headlines. I'm assuming you probably saw them on Twitter, even if you didn't click into The Athletic and read the full article. People should do that because I greatly enjoyed seeing the findings. But basically, writers from The Athletic sent out a survey to like every NBA player and had them fill it out anonymously, no names attached to this whatsoever. Give us your true, honest thoughts. And there are a bunch of spicy questions like who's the most underrated player in the league? Who's the most overrated player in the league? What franchise would you most want to play for if it wasn't your own? What coach do you think is the worst? All these really spicy things with great answers. As outcomes, people voted Cade Cunningham as the most underrated player. Or I think the most improved player, maybe. People voted Tyrese Halliburton as the most overrated player, and that seemed like it really got some juices flowing in the Pacers Bucks series. So, anyways, long story short, I was reading that and seeing the fallout from it, and I thought to myself, damn, I wish that college basketball had something like this. I know that CBS Sports and Norlander and Parrish in the past have done this with coaches, but I want to put our creative hats on for a second and basically think to ourselves, Cart, if there was an anonymous player survey in college basketball, what would some of these answers be? And I've
Mm,
come up with a few prompts here that I think will be fun to work through.
let's get spicy.
Let's get spicy. All right. First one. What team that you don't play for would you actually want to play for?
What?
If you could play anywhere in the sport that's not your own team, where would you want to play? Anonymous player survey to every college basketball player in the sport. What do you think the number one vote getter would be?
Bama.
Whoa, why?
Just because like the offense is threes and dunks.
Do you think college players are thinking that granularly though? Like the offense?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it snows in Tuscaloosa too.
Maybe. The names in my head were like blue bloods that you might have like grown up a fan of.
Yeah, but like these kids were born in 2000.
You don't think it's just like Duke?
It probably is Duke, to be
The
honest.
brotherhood and the bags and
Yeah, it's probably Duke. Honestly, probably still Kentucky.
or Kentucky.
Yeah,
I would
probably.
think it's Duke or Kentucky ahead
Let's
of.
say Duke.
You think Duke?
Yeah,
I mean, right now you're a player. You're Carter Elliott. Duke and Kentucky both offer you. Which one are you going to?
probably Duke.
Under Cal.
Oh, wait, Kentucky under Cal?
In the Calipari era, you would have been at Kentucky, right?
Yeah, I would have been in Kentucky.
Okay, so this is we're already getting a little insight into this. All right, so we both are gonna decide the players would vote Duke for the team they would actually most want to play for. What coach would you most want to play for? If you could play for any coach in the country.
Ooh,
This is a fun one because we're kind of in between eras of coaches. I think 5 years ago, the answer to this would have been Jay Wright.
I think so too. Are we answering? So, okay, real quick question here. Are we answering this as ourselves, or are we putting ourselves in college basketball players'
I
shoes?
want to put ourselves in college. Like, what would the general answer be? What would the number one answer on the board? Family Feud style. Which, by the way, this would be fun
Yeah,
off-season game. We should play
yeah. What
Sleepers Family Feud.
survey says?
It'll end in me and Ralph fighting and Ralph winning.
Uh, honestly, I think a lot of players would say Dan Hurley.
Whoa, I can't see that.
Why?
I think there's at least a segment of people with both Hurley and like Izzo and Cronin that would all just be like, no way, not for me. Trey
Okay, so
McKenney
you,
style.
you, you think it's more honestly? It's just gonna be a full Duke sweep. They want to play for Shire.
I got some other names I would throw out before this. Um,
Throw them out.
I think that Kelvin Sampson's in the conversation.
Hmm.
I think that Bruce Pearl's in the conversation. I think that Todd Golden is currently in the conversation. Seems like a player's coach a little bit. And I think that Mark Pope is in this conversation right now. But
Ew,
I think this would be one that gets a lot of votes, though.
it would be. Uh, I don't think it'd be Samson
Why not?
just because he's old.
I don't think people care about that.
I think kids in college do.
Maybe.
Plus, like this young generation's different.
Is it still Cal?
It might still
It
be.
might still be Cal Perry.
It might.
Is it Todd
No,
Golden?
I think it's Golden.
So you think every coach walks into a room, walks into Pete
Wait,
Shamlin.
hold on a second. Is it Patino?
I was gonna put Patino in the same category we put like Hurley and Izzo, where
Okay.
there's gonna be some players that are just like not for me.
Okay. It's probably one of the. It's got to be one of the SEC guys. I'd say Oates and or Golden.
I don't think Oates has personality like that. I guess I'd vote Golden or Pearl, I think. I don't Pearl's kind of become this like weird players love him guy.
Yeah. Honestly, if those are the two options, just like players want to play for, I think they're probably going Pearl. Like Pearl's kind of got like that charisma. You know what I'm saying? He's at the football game taking his shirt off and shit.
Yeah. All right,
Oh
let's.
God.
This doesn't feel like the right answer, but we're gonna say Bruce Pearl is the
Oh, it's
coach.
not the right answer. It is
Yeah, I
not.
don't know what the answer is.
Honestly, the answer we don't want to say, low key, might be Shire.
It might be Mark Pope. I think Mark Pope would win the coach vote over Shire. We interrupt this sleepers video to tell you about an offer from Underdog Fantasy. Cart, you love Underdog Fantasy, correct?
Of course I do. Can I have a moment real quick?
Please. Thank you for that. In fact, I'm going to cut you off because our listeners like when we keep these short and sweet. Underdog Fantasy. Sign up as a new user. Use promo code SLEEPERS. Get bonus funds up to $1,000, 50% of your deposit match. The NBA playoffs are rocking right now. I played Underdog last week with a Cade Cunningham line. I'm looking forward to doing it throughout the entire first round of the NBA playoffs, but there's more. You can place picks on golf. You can place picks on baseball. You can place picks on the NHL playoffs that are rocking right now. Join Underdog Fantasy, promo code SLEEPERS. Support this show so that we can keep bringing videos to you. Back to the video.
I think Shire would win it over Mark Pope.
So you think Shire sweeps, Duke sweeps both categories thus far?
So far, yeah.
All right. Interesting. All right. Third one I had. What coach would you never want to play for?
Mick Cronin.
No hesitation.
Yeah.
Sneaky. You don't think Hurley would get votes for this?
No.
Because people respect him too much.
Yeah, people respect him too much.
Okay.
Jake Diebler.
I see. This is why I wish this was real. I would love to see the answers on this. What about like Hubert Davis?
Who do you think is the most successful coach that would get a vote in this?
Hurley. I
Hurley?
think I think Hurley is Patino would all give votes for this.
That's true.
Bill Self, like I would never want to play for that dude. Like
Yeah, that would
throws his
be
players under the bus type shit like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to go Mick Cronin for this.
For today, we're gonna lock it. Kevin Willard.
Oh, mm,
Is it Willard?
bang. Yeah.
Kevin Willard is the coach players would least want to play for, which obvious reasons. They let
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
The,
All right,
the
next.
proof's in the bald head.
This is where it gets fun. I worked it up till this point. We're talking players that are currently playing college basketball, like will play next season and are currently playing. Who would be voted the consensus most overrated player in college basketball?
Most overrated player in college basketball. I think inherently it would be a big because bigs get most disrespected. And if you want me to keep it a buck with you, I truly think TKR would get a lot of votes for this.
I don't think players would pay enough attention to TKR for him to get the votes. But I get where you're coming from on it. So I had two answers here. I think if this was a true vote with players, they would probably take the money into the equation here with some numbers that have been thrown around for guys. And that would make guys like PJ Haggerty, maybe
Your guy.
Yaxel, who got
No,
his
not him.
who?
The guy that you're like, I can't believe they got that.
Who?
Rodney Rice.
Yeah. So Des Claude's asking for $4.5 million. Not going to get it, but he's asking for it. Haggerty's asking for four. He's not going to get it. Honestly, it pains me to say this. Just now, if I'm actually guessing what players would vote here, there would be like SEC people that would vote Braden Smith for most overrated player in the country.
Yeah, they honestly like a little bit about it being Purdue. Like it would be, I truly think it'd be Braden or TKR.
I think there's a bunch of like SEC athletic guards that would be like, that white boy from Purdue is the best player in the country. Fuck that.
Yeah,
And vote him and knowing he made $4 million.
yeah. Honestly, it would be one of the Purdue guys.
All right, so this is not our answer, but I'm gonna say I think Braden Smith would end up getting the consensus votes from people for most overrated player, and I would fight that to the death.
Yeah, this is
Most underrated player.
ooh. I feel like for some reason the first name that came to my mind was Emmanuel Sharp. But would players say that?
Right, it's who would players say? And I don't that seems like a tough sell.
I think some players might say Braden Smith too.
The Big Ten ones would. The
Yeah,
ones that are actually familiar with him.
most underrated. Ooh,
Almost feels like it's gotta be someone from like a either a role player from a big school or a star from a little school.
yeah, I'm trying to think who would the player say is the most underrated? You know who this award would honestly get some love or who would get a shot from this, but I don't think the players would say it is Richie Saunders.
I like that.
But I don't think the players would say that though.
Or what about like Stephen Ashworth or like
You know who they would say?
who?
Thomas Hogg.
I like that.
That's
One
who
of
they
the
would
one
say.
of the underrated Florida guys.
Yeah, that's who
Yeah.
they would say.
Okay. I like that. Thomas Haw would be the most underrated player. I have two more left in the game. What's the toughest place to play? What would get the most votes? Mackey's definitely in consideration here, but how many teams and players have played at Mackey?
I still think Fog Allen would get a lot of shouts.
Think that's number one?
Yeah,
Okay.
I still think Fog Allen will get a lot of votes. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's say Fog Allen is the number one toughest place to play consensus. I'm okay with this. And my last one, my most devious one, my favorite one. I want you to give me a percent for this one. It's a yes or no question to every college basketball player anonymously. Yes or no? Are you considering transferring after this season? What percent of college basketball players would say yes? This needs to be real because I swear to God, I have such a high number in my head.
Hold on, I'm gonna do some math here real quick here. Hold on. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that this might not be the best listen, but I have a little math. This is not a math podcast. This is a math podcast, but I'm about to math it up right here.
I
Uh,
think over half of the available returning players hit the portal. So anything above 50 is where my head's at, but I have a crazy high number. Because you got to think, this
I
is
think
just an anonymous question. Their name would never be attached to it. And it's just, are you considering it?
I think at minimum, 20% of players would say yes.
Dog, way higher than that.
That's at minimum.
But this is pure anonymously. There's no downside to them saying yes and being honest here. And it's
Okay.
not, are you going to transfer? It's, are you considering it?
I would say it's like honestly 72%.
I think I genuinely think at least 80% of
Oh,
people
that's
would pass.
diabolical. Can we run this?
That's what I'm saying. How fun would it be to just get that number back?
That
Anonymously, every player in college basketball was asked, "Are you considering transferring?"
Yeah, this is a question for our magazine. We're not publishing it,
Dog, it'd
but
be so fun.
please, are you considering transferring?
Me?
Yeah,
I'm always keeping my options open, but no.
as you should.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm just looking for someone to book me a hotel at the Final Four.
I respect that. I did have an awful dream the other day that the ringer got you.
That wouldn't work out well, I don't think.
Like Bill Simmons invited you to Water Tower, and
I would,
you said you didn't want to be there, and he took you to Big Apple, and you were just smitten.
I feel like I would force Bill to take me to Applebee's and it wouldn't go well, but I would like really hit it off with Tate Frazier though.
Yeah. Is Tate Frazier on the ringer?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, bad scout by you.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay. Well, did you have fun doing that?
I did. I want it to be real.
Me too.